Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified what is going on. Pound for pound boxing, real news, the list of news. Isaac the Pitbull Cruz is the truth. Oh, give me 1 second. Is he really the truth? Is Isaac the Pitbull Cruz really the truth inside of the sport of boxing? Let's unpack this. Isaac Cruz came into the sport, a young, talented guy, what I'm saying, with a lot of pressure. We've seen him fight the likes of Gervonta Tank Davis, where he gave Gervonta Tank Davis his toughest task at this very moment. You know what I'm saying? I think that he's probably been the guy that probably gave Gervonta Tank Davis the most work. Um, and Gervonta Tank Davis, even after the fight, asked if he would give him a rematch, and he said nah. You know what I'm saying? He says they're not trying to fight no guys that's 5'5" and whatever, they shorter and stuff like that, whatever. It is what it is, right? But Isaac the Pitbull Cruz, after that, shortly, obviously was like they had him on a campaign that he was gonna be the next guy, the next star, this and that. I think that they think that he's gonna be the next Canelo Alvarez. Obviously when he lost to Floyd Mayweather, and then he came up with this came up with this catalog after beating guys after guys after guys, and now he's the man who he is today. I think the PBC is trying to exploit the Mexican people. Yes. And I mean, this might be unpopular opinion. A lot of fans do feel like Isaac the Pitbull Cruz is that guy. You know what I'm saying? They feel like Isaac Cruz is gonna be one of those names in the sport of boxing that's gonna be very prominent. But I'm here to bring you back to reality. Isaac Cruz is a good fighter, has a lot of pressure, but the problem with Isaac Cruz is that that's all he has. It's just the strength and the pressure. But does he really have the skills to be able to beat those guys in the elite once you get to those elite levels? And that's my question with Isaac Cruz. It's not that Isaac Cruz is a bad fighter or anything like that. I just don't feel like he's a great fighter. I feel like he's a jag. I feel like if he comes out one night, he could potentially get cause you a lot of damage, and he could potentially beat you. But do I think that because of his skills he'd be able to beat somebody? I think not. I think that with Gervonta Tank Davis, he came out and said that he was injured. He was injured when that fight happened, and his hand was hurting, and that's the reason why he couldn't really throw that hand. And so is it really the truth? You know what I mean? And with the Rolando Romero fight, yes, he got a really good, solid victory, beating Rolando Romero and becoming a world champion at 140 pounds. But my question to him would be, could he potentially beat other guys in the sport of boxing, like a Teofimo Lopez, like a Devin Haney, like a Tank again? And I think that that's where we have to come to reality to really think that, okay, what the PBC is trying to do is they're trying to market this dude as one of those guys. I think that we've seen him in a main event and things like that because they've been trying to push him to get that Mexican market going, right? Because if they could bring up a Mexican fighter from down bottom to the top, obviously the money's gonna be there. And Isaac the Pitbull Cruz is definitely not gonna turn their backs on him because they got him to where he got him, you know. But I think that Isaac Cruz is a good fighter. I think that he's just a plant within the PBC, though. I think that that's why they threw Rolando Romero into that firefight instead of Rolly getting the opportunity to fight Ryan Garcia. I feel like they pushed Rolly to fight Isaac Cruz because they wanted to build that Mexican star. Rolando Romero already had took a loss, already had things that weren't going for him as well, right? He's an entertaining fighter in the sport of boxing. But the problem is with Rolando Romero is that he doesn't have those skills. And I think that that's a huge problem in the sport of boxing, right? He doesn't have those skills. Now, Isaac Cruz gets that solid victory against Rolando Romero, and I'm gonna call it solid because He went out there, he got it, he knocked the dude out. He did what he was supposed to on the night. You know what I'm saying? He became a world champion at 140 pounds, and it was all great for him, But to me, how is he gonna match up against a guy like Subriel Matias? How is he gonna match up against a guy like Tiafimo or Devin Haney? It's gonna be a very tough for him to be able to beat those guys, in my opinion. I think that he has good skill, but not great skill like those guys, right? Like those guys capitalize on a lot of things. You know that with a Devin Haney, he's gonna be on the defensive, and he's gonna do everything to survive. You know what I'm saying? We know that Subriel Martinez, he's he is gonna have crazy, crazy work against you. You know what I mean? And he's gonna accumulate so many punches where you're possibly not gonna, you're possibly just gonna go. You know what I'm saying? And Teofimo Lopez, who is a very athletic fighter, who has a lot of great traits and can fight you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Isaac Cruz, yes, he does have the relentless pressure. He's gonna come forward, has the strength as well, but lacks a lot of other things, right? That those guys don't really lack too much of. Yes, Isaac Cruz does not have footwork, he doesn't have any of that. You know what I'm saying? So how will he match up against a guy like any of those top three champions? You know, I think that with him is more is it's not gonna be he's gonna break you down and he's gonna pick those punches or he's gonna counter with you or any of that. For him, it's more of I just gotta get lucky and get this one shot. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't land that one shot or you can't hurt that guy, because I don't know if you noticed, but Rolando Romero was landing a lot of good shots. The only problem with Rolando Romero was that it wasn't affecting him, right? But a guy like Devin Haney's not gonna want to land that one punch to try to knock you out. He's just gonna keep you at the end of his jab. You know what I'm saying? And if he keeps you at the end of his jab, what footwork are you gonna use to get on the inside? We just seen it with the Argentinian cat, Gustavo Limos. We just seen it with him and Richardson Hitchens. That dude has way more skill than Isaac Cruz. Way more skill than him. You know, he's a heavy hitter. He's like a Isaac Cruz, but better. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows how to get on the inside of that guy. He knows how to neutralize the jab for the most part. He knows how to still hurt you while you still have your jab out there. So it's very tough to beat a guy like that. But when you don't have any type of footwork, when you don't have any strategy to get on the inside of these guys, how are you going to be able to get on the inside of these guys? It's going to be very tough for him. So I feel like the PBC is obviously trying to push this guy because they need that Mexican fan base money, in my opinion. But I don't feel like they really believe in this guy because, yeah, he lacks a lot in the sport of boxing. Good fighter, great story. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's what they're going to be able to push. He took the loss to Javante Tank Davis, but I think that that's really the highlight of his career. Obviously, beating Rolando Romero is another highlight, but how much credit can you give these guys for beating Rolando Romero when Rolando Romero is not, everybody says he's not the greatest skilled fighter out there. You know what I'm saying? So how can you really gauge that off of that type of fight? And we've seen that he gave Javante Tank Davis a lot of problems. But it was time for Javante Tank Davis to meet his match. You know what I'm saying? Because he's the same type of fighter like Javante Tank Davis. Now the only thing that does, I mean, the thing that does separate them is that Javante does have better footwork, better foot movement, and it just shows. So I think that Isaac the Pitbull Cruz he's as advertised, a heavy hitter, but I think that they're gonna build him up to bring him right down. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather just bring him down than even build him up because there's no way that they're gonna be allow this dude. And I know the Mexican fan base, they love him. They think that he's the next one. And I'm here to tell you that he's not your next one. And I think that's probably the best thing that I could say for the Mexican fan base is that he's not your next guy. You know what I mean? Even though you like him because you know the story, how humble he is and everything, and I mean, he might be a great dude. You know what I'm saying? But I think that it's just I don't think that his career is gonna pan out how it's supposed to. But if he knocks these dudes out, I mean, shit. I mean, who's to say, right? This dude could very, very well go in there and knock these dudes out. But when it comes down to it, I think that he beat Rolando Romero, and I think that he's a more deserving champion at 140 pounds than Rolando Romero, I would say. Because we know that Rolando Romero has struggled to even get there. You know what I'm saying? So I think that he's a more deserving champion, and congratulations to him. But do I think that he's gonna be able to unify with anybody or be able to beat anybody that has a belt? I can't see that happening. Surgeon, what's going on, bro? What's goody? Yeah, man. I just can't see that happening, man. I can't see him beating any of those top dudes. It's gonna be very tough for him. He's gonna have a very tough time trying to beat those guys. You know what I'm saying? But I really think that this is like a plant move. This is a true plant, and I'm not talking Caleb. I'm talking this is like they seen the dollars come in after the Javante Tank Davis and Isaac Cruz fight. They seen the need for another Mexican guy that's going to be able to take the sport by storm, that's going to be able to generate that money. They know that the Mexican fan base is one of the highest spent. It is the only fan base in the sport of boxing, the biggest fan base in the sport of boxing. So if you have to build up that Mexican champion, because if there's no Mexican champions in the sport, it starts crumbling again, right? So you're not gonna get that money. You know what I mean? So they have to look for a guy like Isaac Cruz, who has a good story and is a heavy hitter. But if we're being realistic, is he really gonna be the top guy for you? If I was Mexican, I would not see that guy as the representation of me. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that um he's just not skilled enough to beat those guys. He's just not skilled enough. You know what I mean? He beat Rolando Romero, and the Javante Tank Davis, yes, he had trouble. Javante Tank Davis had trouble. He finally met his match, and they were very close. You know, he comes out with the hand injury, whatever. I mean, that's the part. Who cares about that, right? You can't care too much. But Javante Tank Davis fell in love with his power. Obviously, Isaac Cruz, he did it. You know what I mean? He didn't get knocked out. He takes a punch very well. I'm not gonna say that he's gonna ever get knocked out, because I don't think that he'll ever get knocked out. Ever in my life do I think that Isaac Cruz is gonna get knocked out, because that dude is a true pit bull. He's a true pit bull. I respect him, because obviously how he got to where he got to. You know what I'm saying? And even though I feel like PBC made him a plant, a boxing plant, I still feel like he was deserving of that opportunity, and he's humble in those opportunities. You know what I'm saying? So with me, I feel like he's a good fighter. I just don't feel like he's a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? And if I want a fighter that's going to represent me, it's not going to be him. I think that he's just a good fighter, and he is what it is. But the Mexican fan base supposedly loves this dude. And it's very understandable. Just like how they love Jaime Munguia. And I think that for real, if we're really being serious, I think Mexico doesn't have this great. They need to get that great dude again. You know what I'm saying? That one dude that's gonna be like that from Mexico. You know what I mean? Like Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? Another great. You know what I mean? They need to get that other great again. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you gotta find those dudes, and you're very limited on who you're fighting right now. I mean, obviously Emmanuel Navarrete is one of those top dudes. Jaime Munguia could potentially be one of those dudes. You know what I'm saying? And Isaac Cruz could potentially be one of those dudes. You know what I mean? So you're obviously optimistic about these guys that you have right now in this time. but you also have to be building those champions in the background. I feel like you have to be building those champions in the background, those guys that are going to come into the sport and overtake the sport. Because I feel like Mexico right now, I think that it's gonna be in a frenzy. You know what I mean? Like not in a like they always have fighters. No problem with that. I think that they just need one another great, and they need to build that great. You know what I'm saying? But there's possibilities out there. It's not the end all be all. I'm making an unpopular opinion because of the fact that me as a fight fan, I like Isaac Cruz, but I just am not impressed with Isaac Cruz. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed with him. I think we've seen this before, and we've seen it time and time again. And I think that he needs to work with that dude Gustavo Limos so that he could get those skills, bro, to get on the inside of those jabs. You know what I mean? And better himself. Don't fall in love with too much power, and don't fall in love with your face being your defense, my brother. That's what I'm trying to say mainly. You know what I'm saying? Because if he gets a little bit of footwork, bro, it is over. I will feel 100% confident that this is the next Mexican fighter that's gonna be that top dude. You know what I'm saying? I will feel 100% confident because I know he has a very good chin. I know he hits very hard, and then if he gets that footwork is over. It's over. It is over. It's gonna be very hard for these dudes not to beat him. You know what I'm saying? So like how Lemos was getting on the inside of Richardson Hitchens' jab and getting to him and really hitting him and really beating on him. That's how Isaac Cruz needs to work on his abilities in the sport of boxing. And I feel like if he doesn't get that, then it's gonna be very, very tough for him in this sport. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we're talking elite level. Because when we're talking about a guy that's gonna lead the Mexican people, right? You want a guy that's well equipped, a guy who is elite status. You know what I'm saying? He's exciting. He's everything. But is he elite status? And that's where I think that we grow apart with this Isaac Cruz thing. I don't feel like he's an elite status fighter. You know what I'm saying? But I hope that he does get the footwork, and I hope that he gets better in the sport of boxing because it's only going to benefit him, and he's only going to make more and more money. You know what I'm saying? And that'll give the fans hope. So I do hope that Isaac Cruz uh, works on his footwork, man. Works on his footwork and really gets in there and really does that because I think that that will elevate his game to a whole new extreme because it's going to be super hard for guys to really fight this dude when they know that this dude is cracking you. You know what I mean? Like you got your jab out, he's finding ways to get on the inside of you and cracking you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's gonna if he gets that, he'll expose a lot of these dudes that are very defensively sound in their chin. You know what I mean? Because when you tell me you're a very defensive fighter, I feel like you're a little vulnerable when it comes to your chin. I think that that's what they lack is you're a little bit more what that you going if you get touched really hard you gonna go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like Isaac Cruz will expose a lot of these defensive fighters if he gets footwork. Just like how Gustavo Limons exposed Richardson Hitchens. You know what I'm saying? Just how he exposed Richardson Hitchens, I think that that's how Pitbull could be. But he needs to work in the gym, man. He needs to work because if he don't, they're gonna pass him by. You know what I'm saying? Because these dudes at the top, they're training all day, every day. Except for Subriel Matias. I don't think that he trains every day. He just he just goes in there, bro. You know what I mean? But you talking about a 5'5" dude. You know what I'm saying? So he gotta get in there, man. And this is another problem with the Mexican fighters, bro. Jaime Munguia, Emmanuel Navarrete, they have these problems where they're undisciplined, bro. Jaime Munguia, last time I seen this motherfucker, he was eating 10 tacos, bro. 10 tacos. I get it. I get it. You want to have fun, to this and that. You know what I'm saying? Emmanuel Navarrete, drinking beer and shit. Like, dog, y'all motherfuckers could be great, bro. You motherfuckers could be great if you just had the discipline in the sport. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think motherfuckers really care too much. They just got hands. You know what I mean? They could fight like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But when you undisciplined, they go off of straight talent, bro. They're just that talented. You know what I'm saying? These Mexican fighters, they just that talented. Cause Jaime Mugia eating like 10 tacos, bro. No lie. Two tortas, um, some chilaquiles, motherfucker had some enchiladas de mole. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, bro? You know what I mean? Like, you can't do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's too heavy on your body. You know what I mean? Manuel Navarrete probably fucking cracks 10 packs of fucking 224 packs at once, bro, and just starts drinking, bro. That dude is crazy. But they're just that talented. They know they got hands. They know that their chin is good. They know that they great. You know what I'm saying? But they could be better. They could be elite. But that's the difference. You don't see Canelo Alvarez. Yes, you might see Canelo Alvarez in on his off season doing things like that. But when it's training and shit like that, man, it's time. It's time to go. Ain't no more BSing. And that's what separates the greats, man. You could do that type of shit, bro, but when it's time to go, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? But Jaime Munguia, I hope is taking Canelo Alvarez 100% serious because this is going to be the game changer of his life, and I think he knows that. I'm just saying. But this is going to be the game changer for his life. Does he have a chance? Of course. Anybody got a chance in the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? I got Canelo Alvarez, of course, but Jaime Munguia is still a live dog in there. You know what I'm saying? He's not no bum. He's no scrub. He's a good fighter, and we're going to see. But back to Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz, I feel like, he's a little he needs to really work on the footwork, and I feel like he'll be a deadly fighter in the sport of boxing. Like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to be notified, and we out, man. Peace.